It's time now for Empowered Family Talk with Phrantceena Halres.
Do you want to empower families and young people in your community? Then take the time to make a tax-deductible contribution to the Coach Tate Fund. The Coach Tate Foundation is dedicated to helping young people and their families in learning and passing on the kinds of life skills that we all need to succeed. All too often, we hear about kids and their families having encountered life's difficulties that could have been easily avoided by knowing better decision-making skills, from anger management to money management to something as simple as learning to manage how we spend our time or how we use our job skills. Make a donation to the Coach Tate Fund. It'll help kids who need help and their families too. Make your contribution to the Coach Tate Fund. Get details at www.coachtatefoundation.com. And oh, by the way, thank you.
May the words of our mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Good morning. It's family time, and welcome back to Empower Family Talk, right here on Praise 107.9 in the beautiful Sunshine State of Jacksonville, Florida. We the people, paying it forward in this 21st century, as we balance the scales of justice within our real estate, our land, and housing. Are we ready? Well, our guest today is ready, and she's here to help you get ready as we come together around the common cause to preserve and restore one of our most notable real estates on Amelia Island, a stretch of sand and a small community named American Beach. This beach has been American Beach since 1935, when Florida's first black millionaire, Abraham Lincoln Lewis, bought 200 acres of oceanfront property and created a place where African Americans could go to enjoy recreation and relaxation without humiliation. And I'm delighted and excited to be joined today by Miss DoloresKing. She's a member of the family. Thank you for being here, Miss King. I wanted to share with our listeners a little bit about your background. One of your family member currently living on American Beach. And you're the great-granddaughter of the first black Supreme Court Chief Justice of Florida, Mr. Leander J. Shaw. And Ms. King is also a 2008 graduate of the Florida State University. She graduated with a bachelor's degree in interdisciplinary social sciences. She currently works for the Department of Florida's Department of Children and Families, called DCS. In 2018, Ms. Dolores received her Certified Public Manager certificate, and she's 13 years of combined teaching, and she also is a small business owner. So welcome to Miss King to Empower Family Talk again. Glad to have you with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning. How are you?
Doing fantastic. We're just glad to be here and excited to have you share the American Beach story, your past, present, and future, with our listeners today.
Well, thank you. Just, growing up here on American Beach, I grew up actually in Jacksonville, but every weekend my family would come down to the beach, and just not even realizing the history that I was actually living during that time, during my childhood. And let's say I'm currently 34 years old, so my childhood isn't that far behind me. But just thinking about the history of the beach, you spoke of Mr. Abraham Lincoln Lewis and him being the founder of this beach, basically back in 1935, and you're correct with that history. because African Americans during that time didn't have the opportunity to go out to the beach and be able to go out along Jacksonville's coast or even along the coast of Miami. They weren't able to go out to the beach and go out and play like the white people. So what he did was he bought up about 33 acres of shorefront property here on Amelia Island and invited some of his company employees to basically make use of the beach. And he hosted a lot of family functions and business functions out in this area. And it was an area where people felt accepted. We were accepted amongst ourselves. And it was a place where individuals had the ability to even buy certain parcels of land from the company.
Wow. And you were able to see that as a child, but didn't really realize the value in that real estate that was being developed?
Well, what I saw growing up was actually his great-granddaughter, Marvine Beach. And I was around her growing up, not realizing the history that she had behind herself, not realizing the history of my family and the families that own property down here. We live currently on, quote-unquote, Judge's Corner, where we have my grandfather's home, Justice Shaw's home, and then we have Judge Bryant, and we have Judge Adams here. So we have 3 black judges that live on one corner, and that's very unique. I'm not sure how many other communities in the state of Florida or in the entire United States of America could say that.
Well, that's correct. And let me ask you a question about the beach. Is it known as the oldest or the only beachfront property owned by African Americans in the United States? Is that
As far as I know, yes, ma'am, we are the only black beach. We are America's black beach.
Wow, what a history. Now, let me ask you this. Can you share with our listeners some of the notable notes? As you mentioned, 3 African-American judges that are residing currently on American Beach. And you have others that are residing there. I think the president, Dr. Cole of Spelman.
Yes, ma'am. I believe Dr. Cole is living down here. And just to let you know, she is the great-granddaughter of actual Mr. Abraham Lincoln Lewis. She's also the sister of Marvine Beach and the brother of an internationally known jazz drummer, Mr. John Beach. So, I mean, that's a family of, not only educated, but individuals who've given back throughout the community, throughout the entire world.
Well, and this is so important, just stepping back a little bit, Coach Tate Foundation, as you know, we moved from North Carolina here to build a campus. And how I learned and how we learned about American Beach was, as a realtor with Premier Coast, we're looking for land and property and housing for the charity to rebuild communities. And we were told about American Beach during our visit in Fernandina. And we came there, and it was just, and I'm 58 years old, but I felt like a kid in history class, learning history that I never knew about. And so I said, this is something we need to preserve for our next generation. Is that the sentiment of the community there still, to preserve this history of land and housing for our next generation?
Absolutely, and that was one of Marvine's one of her missions in life. That was her passion. That was something that she lived and breathed, was educating not only our youth, our African-American youth, but just the public in general. Anyone who wanted to know about the history of the beach, she was willing to be that book for them. She was able to be that living book for them. She did so much in regards to making sure that the beach was preserved. If we look down, I'm looking down the street now, and I'm looking at Nana's Dune. That's one of the highest dunes that is in the entire state of Florida. There's no other dune that sits that high. And when the golf club came in and tried to destroy that dune, what she did was she fought hard to ensure that that dune was preserved. And now it's actually a part of a historical preservation, a national historical preservation. So it can never be destroyed.
Amen.
And she did that.
That's Miss Bell.
And that's all the way going all the way back to what her grandfather, her great-grandfather, his purpose was to ensure that we had a land that was all of our own.
And that is a legacy that is a gem today in our community, particularly with the charity. We've now begun to educate our children, even outside of North Carolina, and the school system, so that they can begin to teach these kids about such a heritage here, right here in the state of Florida. Now, let me ask you this, Miss King. We have a lot of history that we're going to be publishing out on the social media about American Beach. Where are you today in the 21st century? What is today? May 28, 2020? What is the state of the union for American Beach right now?
Well, I don't know if I'm the best person to speak on the state of the union, but I can speak in from the perspective of a millennial living here in the state of Florida and watching the change, the evolution that has taken place here at Amelia Island, here at American Beach. We have so many more stores that have been built up around here, and that's a good thing. However, what that does is it invites other people that didn't know about the area to now encroach upon the area. We have golf courses on both sides of us that have encroached upon the area and have tried to, basically buy up the land. And we've fought very hard to maintain our land here in American Beach. Currently, I know that they have made, I believe, 30 acres of the original area, and I could be mistaken on that, but about 30 acres of land here, historical properties. So that is very good. That's a good start. But at the time, after Mr. Lewis bought the 30 parcels of land, it expanded to 216.
Right.
The lot size grew, and if we look around now, yes, you have a lot of sale signs because people don't know the history. They don't know the value. And also we had some actual weather that took place, some environmental things that took place back in the 60s. I believe it was Hurricane Dorian that came through, Hurricane Dora in 1964. That came through and actually destroyed American Beach. It slammed right into the beach where we had all of those homes and businesses that were here, because there were, back in the 60s and back in, before that time, we had hotels here, right here on the beachfront property. We had different businesses, all of this black-owned. We had people like Dornell Hurston, who was able to walk along these shores. We had people like Cab Calloway, who walked along these shores, Joe Lewis, A. Philip Randolph. We have history here at this beach, but we have so many people that don't know about the history. I caught myself, very emotional doing my actual own research while getting prepared for it today, and I didn't even realize that the reason Marvine was so passionate when I was growing up about the beach was because she understood the history behind it. She lived that history, and it was a part of her lineage. She was trying to not only keep the lineage of her family alive, but keep all of our history alive.
Yeah.
Because once we're gone, we're gone.
Right. Right. And so we have, I always say at the Coach Tate Foundation, it's family time. It's time for the business family to come together and preserve American Beach. And it's time now to get it done. Now, I do want to share this with you, and I think we had this in our earlier conversation about a Rebuild Florida Community Development Block Grant that's available for such a project as developing a region. Are you familiar with that grant, and is that something that can help benefit the preservation and restoration of American Beach today?
I believe it definitely could be beneficial to American Beach. I think that if there were enough people, just like Uncle Randolph reached out to the African American elite at the time, and the people who had the money, who were able to buy up the land. If people were to reach out and do that again, I believe that this could be something that could be amazing.
Yes.
This could be something that could save American Beach.
Amen. And that is why the Coach Tate Foundation, after meeting Miss Phelps and you and learning about the area, the history, you're right, it becomes a passion. And being new to the area, it certainly substantiated our fund, the $1 billion fund that we set up to begin to restore and rebuild and renew the minds and spirits of the living citizens there today. And I'm in agreement with you, Ms. King. God has blessed a lot of us with a lot of money and resources over the years. And we go back to Deuteronomy 28. We all take some time to read that scripture. God promised us, if we obey his commandments, that he'd give us the land that he promised our ancestors to give us. Mm-hmm. And when we were on Amelia Island in American Beach, that is a prime project for all of us. It's family time to come together and restore this beach and restore the citizens and have it inclusive. Now, let me ask you this question, Ms. King. How do you envision, how do you see American Beach 5 years from today, 10 years from today, given this fund gets manifested and we can begin to build and shovel dirt?
I see it going back to the way it was when I was a small child, to where there were gatherings. It almost seemed like a festival every Sunday here on Amelia Island, here at American Beach, full of cars driving up and down, showing off the cars, and, you know, kids going to the ice cream store right at the end of the block here, getting ice cream, and all of the vendors outside, a place for us to gather and fellowship and just be amongst ourselves and be fun and happy with that.
Yes. Well, that's and the next generation will have a place. Kids from all over the world can come and stay in a bed and breakfast and plan small business ideas. All of that is an economic development impact. It creates jobs. It creates contracts for small business owners such as yourself and others for their products and services to be a part of its economical growth and sustaining business model for the future. So that leads me into your small business as King Professional Development and Consultant. Can you share with our listeners, after all of that history, it's in your DNA to lead by example as a business owner. Can you share with us a little bit about your business there?
Well, thank you. My business is, like you stated, King Professional Development and Consulting, and what I do is I go out and provide professional development training to specifically people who work in the social work field or individuals who are social service providers such as law enforcement, teachers, anyone in those areas, medical staff, along those lines. What I've done in the past working with the Department of Children and Families is I was a professionally mandated reporter trainer. And what that is everyone in the state of Florida is a mandated reporter, meaning that if they see any abuse or neglect towards children or vulnerable adults, they're required to actually call that information in. And with professionally mandated reporters, that's a different category. That's a level up. And what that means is if you're working with children, and they have a list there in Chapter 39 of the Florida statute that outlines specific individuals who are in specific careers where when they contact the Florida Abuse Hotline, if they have suspect any abuse or neglect in regards to children or vulnerable adults, that they must provide their name. And the reason why they're required to provide their name is so that if the investigator needs to follow up or has any questions, that they can actually talk to someone, talk to the person that reported that information. What that does not mean is that that person does not actually, the investigator doesn't provide the person who the report is about. They don't provide the reporter's information. That's against the law. And so when I was going out into the community and actually doing face-to-face training with teachers, because I was a former teacher myself, elementary school teacher, I understood that there were still questions that were out there when it came to reporting information, what should be reported, what shouldn't be reported, what do I do if I have a question about this child who's not going to school, things of that nature. Once I was able to get face-to-face into schools and in front of different conferences and explain Chapter 39 and 172 of the Children and Families Operating Procedure Guidelines, what we're actually looking for, there was a very clear understanding, and I was able to give the reassurance and assurance to those reporters that they're needed. Because right now we have children who are sitting at home with their abusers. And when school opens up, you're going to have a lot of children who you're going to be able to identify and question whether or not the signs that you're seeing, is that abuse and neglect? Is that, is there something going on there? And with the trainings that I provide, not only that, but safe haven law, child pool safety, and water safety. And in regards to professional development, business writing classes, classes in regards to communication, and also Generation Z mental health concerns. I have a specific training dealing with Generation Z and the mental health concerns and mental health information that they need to have, because this is the first generation that has the highest anxiety and depression rates that we've seen ever.
Well,
and it's based on everything about them.
That's important. That's our real estate, Ms. King, that you're talking about. That is our real estate, and I am so happy that we found a way to work together with Coach Tate Foundation in your specific area of expertise, because our families today, we talk about our brick-and-mortar real estate and land, but we've also got to really focus in on our next generation real estate as the mind, soul, and spirit of our children, because those are our next leaders. And with COVID and all the crisis that's going on around us, it really lends well to a leader such as yourself that's willing to knock on those doors and understand child abuse and child trafficking, human trafficking. Is that the core mission, is to bring these children up where their real estate value becomes a good working citizen for our community?
Absolutely. We want to ensure that these children, or the children or vulnerable adults that have been impacted with abuse and neglect, that their trauma, that the trauma that they've felt, that they've endured their entire lives, that we are providing a safe place for them and providing information to individuals who are able to assist them with getting help.
Wow. I honor that, and I totally support that, and I can always envision right there on that corner of American Beach, King Professional Development and Consulting, allowing our children and our teens who are experiencing these traumas in life to be able to come by that water and sit and relax and learn and regroup and come back out into the community and be involved in the American Beach Project and others that are serving our future. And I enjoy that about you, and so I encourage everyone to reach out to you, and certainly in our work with Coach Tate, we've got some good work to do ahead. Now, we've got a couple more minutes left, Ms. King, and we certainly enjoy your time today and look forward to carrying on upcoming announcements as we work together to preserve and restore and renew American Beach. So,
thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I have so enjoyed my visits there. We'll be back out there again as a realtor, and we're looking to meet with the community. So we're excited about this project, and we're passionate about it, and we put God first. and all other things will fall in line. So thank you so much. Now, can you share with our listeners how to reach out to you? And before you do, I'd like to share with our listeners, for those that are interested in being a part of this great phenomenon, restoration of our history in American Beach, contact me directly at the Coach Tate Foundation. And my direct number is 904-330-8646. And we'll post all of this on social media as well so that we can include you as part of our solution to the problems that exist, so we can pave a better way for our children in the future. Now, Miss,
absolutely.
Can you
thank you so much for...
Give us your
I'm sorry,
remarks.
go ahead.
Give us your closing remarks and your contact information and a rise to action for our listeners.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak on American Beach and the history, provide a little bit of history in regards to American Beach. I want to make sure that the listeners know how to reach you. Again, it's Coach Tate Foundation Fund. They are going to be providing some assistance here with American Beach and getting everything set up so that we can continue to preserve the history and the actual land that's here. In regards to reaching out to me, my actual website is K as in King, P as in professional, D as in development, C as in consultant, LLC.com. So that's KPDCLLC.com. And my contact number is 904-607-6432. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And you all have a great day.
Well, thank you so much again, Miss DoloresKing, joining us today and sharing her empowered American Beach and small business ownership story with our listening audience. And Miss King, let's stay tuned. We're just at the beginning. Let's stay tuned. It's family time.
It's family time.
It's family time. And on that note, to our listeners, it takes both sides to balance these scales of justice. It's family time at American Beach. Until next week, same time, same station. Here, right here on Praise 107.9, Jacksonville, Florida. I am Phrantceena Halres, your hostess.
Thank you for joining Phrantceena Halres on Empowered Family Talk. Tune in next week.
Empower your family with the dynamic new book by Phrantceena Halres, Our Sixth Sense and Purpose, The Power in Knowing Who You Are. It's the book that gives you insights into life's problems. Phrantceena Halres is an author, motivational speaker, and national broadcaster who believes the answers to your problems lies within the knowledge that was once traditionally passed down by families. But that knowledge has been short-circuited by today's faster pace. The book, Our Sixth Sense and Purpose, The Power in Knowing Who You Are, brings that accumulated wisdom to the problems that all families face. You'll find your copy of Our Sixth Sense and Purpose, The Power in Knowing Who You Are at Amazon and at better bookstores. Empower your life with the dynamic new book, Our Sixth Sense and Purpose, The Power in Knowing Who You Are by Phrantceena Halres.